Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So with Derrick Lewis knocking out Lima in 33 seconds at UFC 291, I think we all have to ask the question, how can Derrick Lewis get back to where he was before his skid? How can he get back to title contention? And I think there's only one answer to that: Tom Aspinall. That is his biggest hurdle in the division, but it's also his biggest reward. I think it's a big thing if Tom Aspinall gets a big name on his record. He doesn't really have that on his record like Andre Arlovski, but he's fucking 43, 44 years old. Again, Derrick Lewis would be huge for both guys. And Tom Aspinall would be huge for Lewis. If Derrick Lewis can KO Tom Aspinall, he's the rising prospect or whatever right now, which he's not a prospect, but he's that rising guy. It shows everybody that, yeah, Derrick Lewis, I mean, you could have a title fight with Tom Aspinall and Derrick Lewis, with the knockout king and and I think the biggest weapon for Tom Aspinall is his speed. We don't really understand his power, but that speed is so deadly with power and how accurate he is. He's very good on the ground, which of course is what he would try to do with Derrick Lewis. Whether he could do it or not is, he probably could get him down at some point, I would imagine. But he would have to be careful every step of the way. I think that's a harder fight than what people think it is. Again, I think his shots, like his takedown shots, are awesome. I think his entries are awesome, but you have to be worried about that punch. You have to be worried about the defense of Derrick Lewis, especially if he's motivated. We've seen it sometimes where Derrick Lewis isn't very motivated, and that's some of his worst performances. But when he's motivated, he does what he did on UFC 291, and he knocks the guy out in 33 seconds with a flying switch knee from a 263-pound man. Unbelievable. I gotta tell you, unbelievable. But again, Tom Aspinall, I know people think he needs to fight for a title now. He hasn't fought anybody. I'm sorry. Marcin Tybura is a veteran. Yeah, I thought he was going to give him a little bit more of a problem, even though I thought Tom would win. But he has no top 5 ranked guys on his resume. Nobody. Yeah, Volkov now is, but before really wasn't in that area, and he rolled through him. But he needs to fight like a Tai Tuivasa. And honestly, he probably needs to fight Sergey Pavlovich. That'd be the biggest question. I think we'd get a lot of answers to that fight for Tom Aspinall. Where he's at, what he could do, how can he take a punch? I think that's a big question right now. We don't really understand. How is his ground game when people are trying to wrestle him? Which I don't think Sergey would try to play that game. He would try boxing him, of course. But I think it would give us a little bit more answers. So for Derrick Lewis, his only chance to get that title shot after this last win, which was awesome, is to fight a big name. Unfortunately, he's fought Cyril Gane, Sergey Pavlovich, Sergey Pavlovich, Tai Tuivasa, and those are his losses. So a big thing is, again, that how does he do when he's fighting those other guys? I don't know. I don't really know. I'd like to see the Sergey Pavlovich one just because we don't really... That fight's kind of unclear. Even though he did get hurt, still a little unclear. Either way, the biggest chance that Derrick has to become champion is fighting Tom Aspinall. Whether he can beat him or not is to remain to be seen. But that is his one ticket to become champion. He has to fight him, he has to beat him, and he can be champion. Derrick Lewis can be champion, but it's going to take some hurdles. It's going to take some climbing some mountains. It's going to take him getting in some good shape. Getting in the shape that he did in his last fight with good cardio and fighting like something depended on it. That's what he needs. He does not need to be huge, like fat or whatever. He needs to be ready to go. If he gets taken down, he needs to be able to get back up. If he gets his back taken, he needs to be able to defend it. If Tom tries to go for the arm like he did against Volkov, he needs to be able to defend it. And my question to you guys is, what do you think is the biggest scenario for Derrick Lewis? And do you think he can beat Tom Aspinall? Let me know what you guys think. As always, subscribe, like, comment. Peace.